what's up everyone? I've made the perfect rifle muzzle device, but only for my very specific situation and application. We're going to take a look at this muzzle device. Let's get into it. I'm going to share a quick story that leads to why I designed this muzzle device. Timestamps are provided, so you can skip this if you want. I wouldn't be surprised if a few of you have found yourself in a similar situation. Let's travel back in time about 5 years when you still had to pay $200 for a suppressor tax stamp, and they took 9 months to a year to get out of ATF jail. At the time, dead air chemo was kind of the hot shit in terms of suppressor and muzzle device QD systems. I was starting to set up some rifles and I was putting these muzzle devices on them. I ordered the dead air Sandman S. I waited a year for this guy to get out of ATF jail, and I was just going to run this one can on all my rifles. And I was pretty happy with my one suppressor for some time. Fast forward to January 2026, tax stamp cost went to 0 and approval time is around 2 weeks. I figured I would buy more suppressors and have one for each of my favorite rifles. I have 2 rifles with pinned and welded muzzle devices, my 14.15 inch barrel CZ Bren 2 and a 13.9 inch AR-15. With the dead air muzzle devices, the key mount hub adapter, and the suppressor, this made the muzzles of the 2 rifles unnecessarily heavy and a bit longer than they needed to be. I didn't really see anything available for purchase like what I have here. There are, of course, hub compatible muzzle devices, but they're generally muzzle brakes, and I think those are obnoxious and I don't like them. None of them were long enough for the 2 rifles in question to get the barrels to the legal 16 inches that I need. This presented me with a great opportunity for a fun design and challenging machining project. This one isn't pinned and welded to the barrel yet, so let's take a look at its features. We have half 28 threads back here. This is the standard muzzle threads of a 5.56 barrel. There is a hole for pin and weld. We have a larger diameter here with a couple of flats on it, machined for a 3/4 inch wrench. This is the hub suppressor interface, 1 3/8 by 24 threads. Then I milled this pocket down here for weight reduction. Hub mount suppressors just thread right onto this thing. Then at the front we have a 3-prong flash hider with mass taken off the tines in different locations to prevent resonance so it doesn't ring like a tuning fork, because that annoys me. There are 2 critical parameters for this muzzle device. First is the overall length. This length is such that it will bring whatever barrel it's attached to the legal 16 inches once it's pinned and welded. This is for my 13.9 inch barrel AR. The standard length of the half 28 muzzle threads is 600 thou. So 16 inches minus 13.9 is 2.1. Plus 600 thou of the thread length inside this device gives me a total length of 2.7 inches. The second critical parameter is the distance from this shoulder to the end of the flash hider. You can also think of this as the position of the hub mount along the axis of the muzzle device. This is based on the depth of the blast chamber of the suppressor, or the distance from this face to the blast baffle. This one is specific to the YHM Fat Cat. It has a pretty short blast chamber. This muzzle device on my CZ Bren 2 is specific to this 14.15 inch long barrel and my Otter Creek Labs Polonium K suppressor. Let's see how I employed these critical parameters in my 3D model. We'll open the sketch I used for the revolve feature that creates this body. You can see I have a construction line 600 thousandths of an inch from this end, which is what mounts up against the barrel shoulder. This accounts for the muzzle thread length inside the device. And then from there you see I have this parameter, which is a function. Let's open that up. It's 16 inches, the total length of barrel I need, minus this parameter, Brazilian butt lift length, barrel length. Then I have this dimension. It's also a function. Let's open it up. It's the blast baffle depth minus 50 thousandths of an inch. That 50 thou I take off just to ensure I have enough clearance in the suppressor. So let's open up my parameter list, and you can see I have those two user-defined parameters right here. So I can type in my barrel length. Let's say I want to change it to 13.7. You can see right here that my model grew a little bit. And let's say I have a suppressor with a slightly deeper blast baffle, maybe 1.5 inches. You can see the hub mounting interface moved back. Now I have this cylinder sticking into the suppressor. I don't really plan on taking the suppressors off this muzzle device, but if I ever did and I needed to shoot it, I'd like a flash hider. Muzzle brakes are obnoxious, but I know they can act like a mini blast baffle. Anyways, I made it a 3-prong flash hider. This will also reduce the weight of the muzzle device. I've constrained the flute cuts to be coincident with this front face of the hub mount. Then I've created functions defining the position of those mass tuning cuts. So as I adjust my two critical parameters, the flutes and the flash hider and these cuts right here all adjust accordingly. Now I have myself quite a versatile model. But what I've just shown you is like the basis of parametric modeling. I made myself a drawing to reference during machining that's derived from this model. When I make changes to the model, the drawing is associative, so it will update automatically. Of course, while I designed this, I had to keep in mind the capabilities of the manual machines I'll be using, but more importantly, my skills as a machinist. This would be a challenging machining project for me. Sorry, I didn't film any of the machining work. I needed to concentrate and not dick around with trying to film. This was all done on a manual lathe and a milling machine with a dividing head. It took a while, probably 8 hours per muzzle device. My dad helped me out a lot with the lathe work. I machined this out of 1.75 inch diameter, 17.4 precipitation hardened stainless steel. The heat treatment condition is H1150. We process a ton of this 17.4 round stock at my work, so I can just take what I need from the scrap bin. It's pretty sweet. After all the machining was done, I heat colored it with a torch to this kind of like dark straw or like bronze color. If I planned ahead better, I could have sent these out for salt bath nitride with the 1911 slide and frame I'm having treated right now. But I think this looks cool, and this material doesn't really need any treatment for this application. It's plenty strong enough and quite corrosion resistant. Weight savings was a big deal here. On each of these rifles, I'm replacing a key mount hub adapter and a key mount muzzle device. These muzzle devices are a bit heavy. They're around 4 ounces each, and this key mount adapter is 4.2 ounces. Each one of my muzzle devices weighs around 3.4 ounces, so I'm shaving off 4.8 ounces from the muzzle of each of these rifles. That's a little over 1/4 pound out at the end of the barrel. It makes a pretty big difference. On the 13.9 inch AR, I shaved about 1/4 inch of length off. The Polonium K has a deeper blast chamber than the Fat Cat, and that meant I could sneak the hub mount back a little bit further, so I actually got a whole 1/2 inch off the front of this gun. So these new muzzle devices are pinned and welded to their barrels. I did it with my little wire feed. The welds were ugly. They look okay after a little grinder work to hide my shame. I couldn't find something out there for my specific application that I could just buy, so I decided to make it myself. But this was really a design exercise and a great machining project for me more than anything. I learned a ton while machining these two muzzle devices and picked up some useful skills. I hope there was something in this video that you found interesting or cool. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.